Okay, so we're going to get started. I will be admitting people, but Theresa, the floor is going to be completely yours, unless anybody asks any questions in the chat or if I think of anything. But basically, hang on, somebody's not muted. Basically what we do, what I've started doing on Thursday nights is just inviting people that I know in the industry are, baby, you gotta turn that down or something, that are doing that are working their businesses, that are showing up, and that I feel like are super inspiring and inspirational. And ever since I met you in the challenge group, you were one of our challenge leaders. I think Elizabeth was on that challenge group too. And I just fell in love with you. And then I love following your journey. I was like crying when you got the Millionaire Award. I was so excited for you. So I just wanted to have you just share a little bit about your story. And then anything that you feel like, maybe things that your team does that you feel are super successful that have gotten you guys to where you are. Because I think that's one of the things that I love the most about this company is that so many teams do a lot of things similarly, but there are still so many different things that we could be learning from each other. Just like when we were on the Zoom the other day, the 200K Zoom, it was so crazy to see all the different promos and stuff that people run. So just anything that you would like to share with us, we are all ears. And then you guys, if you have any questions, I'll be watching the chat and I'll be able to ask Theresa at the end.
Are you good?
Yep. We are
okay. Good. All right. So hello, everyone. In case I have not met you before, there's a lot of faces that I have not seen or met before, not because you haven't been here, just because we haven't been anywhere. So we finally get to go somewhere this year. So I'm super excited about that. Thrive-A-Palooza, hopefully a lot of you are going, if not all of you are going. I told my team this morning, just because it brings back memories, as I guess Jason sent out that video, recording today, and was talking about being at Thrive-A-Palooza. And I remember the first year I heard about Thrive-A-Palooza, I remember thinking, well, first of all, I didn't have any money. And I was actually a 40K just because I was reinvesting everything back in the business, so I didn't have a lot left in my budget. And we had got a call or something. I don't know if we got a letter or a call or something about our house payment going up. And I remember our house payment was more than double what it was going, what it was, because we had, I don't know, we didn't pay attention to the loan we got or something crazy. And I remember when we went, I literally had a negative bank account. So that's kind of something about Thrive-A-Palooza to let you know, like, no matter what your situation is, like we've all been there, I promise you. But if you can get there at all, I would strongly, strongly, strongly suggest that you do. And if you don't, then your team's going to bring back like really wonderful things for you. So at any rate, so a little bit about me is that I've been doing this for a little bit over 6 years, came here with absolutely zero experience whatsoever, did not even plan on working the business. I know that sounds like something you hear lots of times, but I literally did not plan on working the business. I am a huge introvert, believe it or not. I am like, I've never been diagnosed with anything, but I probably have social anxiety because it freaks me out to talk to people in person. And so, it's just one of those things that I never thought of. I signed up as a customer, ordered on auto ship, never even tried the product just because I trusted my friend. And so I was a godsend for her because she was in her bonus period and I actually did it right. I ordered on auto ship. And so, and you know how hard that is sometimes. So that's how my journey started. By day 3, I knew something was going on, completely different in my body. And my husband noticed a difference and he wanted to start using it too. So long story short, called my friend, did not even know I could thrive for free. And, she's like, girl, like you can thrive for free, find your 2 referrals. And all I heard was go tell 2 people. And I'm like, well, isn't going to tell 2 people promoting? Because to me, that sounds like promoting. And so she kind of said yes and no, and told me the difference between the 2 was, the push of a button and a paycheck. So I thought, well, I've got to do it because we can't afford to use it otherwise. So if I'm going to go find my 2 people, then I may as well get paid for those 2 people. And so the pivotal moment for me in that situation was that Hunter Lauterbach, which is one of our uplines, messaged me, and it was like 10 o'clock at night. And he's like, hey, I just saw you press the promoter button. Can you jump on a welcome call? And I was like, dude, it's 10 o'clock at night. Like, are you crazy? And so I literally woke my husband up because I'm like, this strange man is messaging me, wanting me to jump on the phone and do a welcome call, like whatever that is. And so, so we got on the call, and he's, talking to me about it and kind of gave me a vision of where the company could go. And again, I'm just kind of thinking, this guy's nuts. Like, there's no way I'm not that person this happens to. And so, but knowing that I could thrive, with my 2 customers for free, and that got me halfway to the first bonus, I'm kind of super competitive. So, so I went for it, and, it kind of took off from there. I will be super honest with you and tell you, my first month of using it and promoting the business, I really didn't promote the business. I did tell people, I did send messages, things like that. Certainly had no idea what I was doing, but I utilized the heck out of my uplines. I mean, I got people on a call like a son of a gun because I had no idea what to say to people. So I literally got everybody in the world on a call because I didn't have to talk to anybody. So that's honestly how I hit my bonuses, is by letting my uplines do the work for me. So, 14th day, I ended up having to put my husband in as a promoter as well, just to hit VIP 1600. And then of course that plopped him in his bonus period. And then guess what? We turned around and hit his as well. So that's kind of how our journey started. It was super strategic as far as that goes, because they did tell me, like, don't put your husband in, because keep him as an ace in your back pocket, because we don't know strategically if we need to use them as a customer or a promoter. And that's like, I tell everyone that, because so many times people use their get out of jail people, so to speak, and they don't have them to pull out of their pocket at the last minute. So, so that's kind of how our journey started, and how our team kind of blew up really kind of quick in the beginning. But my first month, God's honest truth, we probably did $6,000. I didn't, like I said, I didn't work it as a business. Next month, we kind of did a little bit more than that, but the third month doing it, I remember seeing all these corporate calls, pop up from Paul. That was when he did like 7,900 of them, like all the time. And they were all kinds of weird times of night. And I remember thinking, what is this guy thinking? And so I popped on a call, and I actually listened, like attentively listened to the call. And he kept talking about 30, give me 90 days, give me 30 days, give me 60 days, all these things. And I was like, okay, I'm going to do it. I'm going to give him, X amount of days. And so I literally ordered another $400 pack at that point and thought, I am sampling out every single bit of this, and I'm going to do absolutely everything exactly the right way. And that month we hit 12K. And then very quickly after that, we hit 40K. And then it kind of went on from there. But the biggest thing that we did right away is, I'm a little bit of a control freak, not in a bad way, but I like for everyone to do things the same way. Like, as far as teaching duplication, as far as a duplicatable system. And even if you're going to do it different, it's okay, as long as you're teaching your people to do it the same way. And so I've had to learn that skill. That was a tough one for me, by the way, just because that's just who I came from. That's just me. And so, so now we have like 5 200Ks on our team, and some of us kind of do it exactly the same way, and some of us don't. I'll be honest. And some of them do it a little different than we do, and that's okay. They're doing their thing over there, and they're succeeding. So, so that's just kind of the biggest thing for me, is to kind of figure out where you want to go. What do you want from the business? Where do you want from the company? Because in the beginning, for me, all I wanted, like, if I made $50, like, I was like, oh my gosh, that's $50 more than I had before. It was a lot for me to dream past that, because I learned to go to school, get a job, have a family, and like, that was the thing. And so I didn't know how to dream any bigger. And I think that's instilled in us from a very early age, where we're taught not to dream big. And I've had to learn that a lot in my adult life, and read lots of books about it and everything else, just, self-development wise, because we don't dream big enough. And so when you do your first vision board and you're like, okay, I want to, pay the car payment. Well, okay, that's done with 12K. So, and then you kind of have to start going, okay, well, what else do I want to do, kind of thing. And so it's a journey. That in itself is a journey to just kind of figure out where you want to go. And so I always tell everybody in the beginning, like, what would make your life easier? Is it $300? Is that what will make your life easier? Figure out what will make your life easier. And then we have to work towards how we're going to do that. So, so that's kind of in a nutshell, a little bit of how I got started. And, my philosophy has certainly changed from where I started to where I am now. I'm trying to think of how to answer your question as far as things that we do. I mean, we don't really do a lot of things different. I will tell you, I downloaded Trello, and my first thought was like, but I mean, it's great. And then I sent it to one of my 200Ks. I was like, okay, I'm going to send you something and I want you to tell me what you think. And of course she is like super detailed. So she was like, oh my gosh, like this is heaven. And I know for a fact, when I send it to one of the other ones, she was like, oh my God, I can't even look at that, And so everyone is different. And
Right.
I came out of the field of dentistry. And one of the things, like we took lots of classes for that, believe it or not, in communication. Everybody likes to receive information differently. Some people are small chunk people. They want very little detail. They will run to the hills if you give them a booklet on how to do things.
I'm kind of like that.
And some people, and so it freaks me out. Like, but some people need the big picture, and some people need all the little details. So you kind of have to figure it out. And just like that, I was like, well, I think we should have it in place. And the people that it doesn't drive nuts are going to appreciate it so much.
Right.
And the people that it does, then, they're just going to do things differently. And that's okay. Different isn't wrong. It's just different. So
right. I love that. So you guys are super big on three-way chats. I gathered that. Or do you still do calls? Or I know that when you first started, you guys were probably more like, hey, get on the phone.
Yeah.
And now I feel like everybody's leaning more towards throwing them in a chat. So do you still find that the phone calls work better, or like we did our welcome call, Courtney and I did a welcome call today with my new promoter, and we did it on a Zoom, and that was amazing. I loved it because we got to see her face, she got to see our face, and we really got to connect a little bit better and ask questions and stuff. So do you feel like it's more beneficial to do it on the phone, on a chat, on a Zoom, or what is your?
Well, I think it depends on what it is. It's hard for me coming off of doing it for so long. It's like I was born and raised on three-way calls. So I can do a jam up jelly type job on a call just because I am so comfortable with doing a call. Because I ask a lot of questions. That's one thing I learned also, is that he who asks the questions leads the conversation. So I always ask questions before I actually start. Just, it's almost like a little pre-interview before I start, so that I know who I'm talking to.
Okay, so like that. What kind of questions do you ask?
Yeah, so a lot of times I ask them, if they take any supplements now, like what their normal day is like. I want to know if they drink coffee. I want to know if they, use any other vices throughout the day, and just a little bit about why they, what they're looking for. Okay. Because honestly, my story is a little bit different depending on who I'm talking to. I can talk to you about weight loss. I can talk to you about digestive issues. I can talk to you about lots of different things, about being an athlete. I've been an athlete my whole life. So it's kind of good to know who you're talking to. So for me in a three-way chat, that's a little bit more difficult for me to do a great job, because I can't put as much into it because I don't really know any of the information. So yes, we do close people on three-way chats still. I mean, I'm not going to say that we don't. I'm going to chat right now with somebody with diverticulitis, because I also have diverticulitis. So, or have it. I shouldn't say I necessarily have it anymore, because I've had like 2 flare-ups since I've started using Thrive. But it's important to do those, to know what, the information that you're trying to give, and so I'm a huge question asker. So same thing with, honestly, anything that I do, I ask a question. If I'm going to send a message, I ask a question, because asking a question creates a conversation. Right. And so, you never leave open-ended statements out there or anything like that, because what did you expect them to say back?
Right. So. I love that. I think it's so easy to get super excited about having a potential customer or promoter that you forget to ask questions, and you just want to dive ball them with all the information and all this stuff. And it's kind of like, okay, wait, take a second and ask them questions. Because I remember when I first started, Courtney was asking me questions. She was like, well, do you have any health concerns, any issues? What do you do now? What is your day-to-day like now? And that was valuable information to her, because she knew what to send me. And then it was also teaching me how to do mine too. But I think it could get really easy to forget to do that. So I love that you brought that point up. Let's see what else. Does anybody else have any questions? Well, I think my brain is mush.
You're good. You're good. The other thing that I will tell you that I kind of didn't tell you about my story in general is that we've got 4 kids. And I actually worked my full-time job up until about 17 or 18 months in when we hit 200K. I could have quit way before that, but I was at my, it was a career that I had for 27 years. So it was kind of like leaving family. And so I will tell you that the stress of not having to go to work, like I didn't have to go to work, but I chose to go to work is completely different than your job. You know what I mean? If that makes any sense, because I didn't have to go to work because I had to have the money. And so, I've shared this with you before, I think, but my mom got sick and I was able to stay like in the hospital with her for about 2.5 weeks. Never would have been able to do that before. Like I never missed work because we had to have the money. And so, but I was able to spend like every last second with her. And I just remember like literally she went into the hospital on Easter Sunday and I hit 200K the very next day. So it's like really awesome because she knew I hit 200K. Lots of things happened around that. But the biggest lesson I got out of that was that time freedom is worth more than money could ever be. And so I realized right then that like, no, I don't need to go to work. Like I need to be at home with my kids, you know, because I missed all of the things with my kids. I missed all the practices. I missed all the games. I missed all the things because I was so busy working and being a company worker that I missed all the things, you know? And so our kids are spread out. So like our older 2 are in their 20s and our younger 2 are 12 and 14. So our 12 and 14-year-old have had a completely different childhood than the older 2 have. And so, and that's just it. And I didn't know that I wanted that, like that, you know what I mean? In the beginning, because I didn't think it was possible. So
same. I definitely don't think that I went into this thinking that I would be, you know, at home full time with my kid. Like totally didn't think that was going to be a thing. So did you say it's 17 months is when you hit 200? That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's fast.
Yeah. Well,
so a lot of people, they might not think so, but that's fast.
It's just, you know, and it's just duplicating and teaching that duplication. And honestly, all of the leaders that were with me then are still with me now. And so,
that's rare.
Pretty much all of them. And
I feel like that's rare. That's something that I remember learning very early on, is that a lot of the people that run with you to get to one rank might not be with you for the next rank. So what do you feel like contributed to that? Do you think
I feel like
duplication and just building a community straight out? Like
I do. I feel like it's funny because I was just telling somebody about this yesterday. You know, there's different types of people in business, and there's friends that are your friends no matter what, and they're in your business. So those are your friends in business, you know, as well. And then there's strictly business, you know, and I try super hard to build relationships with all of our people. I have always, even since especially in the beginning, because I have always reached out down to everybody, to touch everybody, to say hello to everybody. Like I have level, I don't know, 15s that reach up to me for help every single day, and they bypass a whole lot of people. And so I'm never too busy to help anybody, you know?
Right. So did you build that relationship with people that are like within your, you know, level 14s, 15s, and stuff like that, just by digging through your cloud office and reaching out to every person that's created an account?
Pretty much.
So much. Thank you for saying that.
No, it's okay. And pretty much, you know, the way I hit 12K is I had a girl. Now my 4K, a lot of the 4Ks that came along with me in the beginning are not here. Okay. So to answer, but I'm talking about like the ones that built teams and things like that are still here. But those I reached out to because I paid super close attention to my downline order history and things like that, and my team updates to see that like a promoter only ordered 2 steps. I'm like, what's going on? Like, why is this promoter only ordering 2 steps? So I would reach out, say hello, just curious about why you only ordered 2 steps. And she's like, well, the girl that signed me up told me not to order the shakes. They are not good. And I was like, OMG. And so I was like, okay, this isn't happening. So then my control freak, you know, took over. So I'm like, okay, can I get you some shakes so that you can actually experience the full 3 steps so that you understand why, you know, all 3 steps are necessary. And so, and of course I did. And actually that team, is the team that helped me hit 12K. So
That's
because
awesome.
they went 4K like nothing, because they got all 3 steps. Now, had I just ignored it and didn't really care, didn't really do anything with it, wasn't involved at all, then that probably would have never happened. And so, and guess what would have duplicated? 2 steps, 2 steps, 2 steps, you see? And so everything
if they even would have stuck with that, there's a good possibility they might not even have stuck with the 2 steps, and then that would have just disappeared.
Yep, exactly. Yeah. So I've always been super involved, like with all of them. And it's hard as you get bigger, but especially when you're smaller, like, I mean, it's just, it's imperative. Like, so we would get together. I remember the first time I told Lindsay, this is funny. I'm like, listen, we have all these people signing up, and like, I feel like we need to get them all together. Like, we got to have a powwow. And she's like, okay, let's go to Starbucks. I swear to God, we met at Starbucks to have our little, and so it was like, yeah, so. I know. It was just funny to me, because now I look back at it, I was like, of all the places that you like could have picked, you picked Starbucks. That's really funny. Yeah. But so, and everybody's like, do we order coffee? Like, don't we? Or like, is that a thing? Like, are we allowed to do that? And I was like, oh my gosh, but it's just super funny. But
that is funny.
So I was going to tell you though, that a lot of people in this business, because they kind of don't know where they want to go, they'll tend to be too busy to do things. They'll be too busy to get on calls. They'll be too busy to plug into Zooms. They'll be too busy to do all the things. And so when you really, really, really decide what you want to do and where you want this to go, then your work ethic will follow that. Mm-hmm. And what I mean by that is all of a sudden you're going to find the time, because now it's a priority. And so I mean, like, it's never even a question about my IPAs every day. People ask me about that every day, and it's just like an automatic thing for me. So I don't even think about what I do, because it's like clocking into work. You know what I mean? Like, I clock in first thing in the morning. I get up and I do my stories, and I do all the things. And then I literally go running, bring my phone with me. And on my cool down lap, I literally check on my samplers. I check on my, and because that's how my life is. Like, we watch our grandson. So I have to make things work. And so, because not doing it is not an option, and so, so it's just never even a question of being too busy. We're all too busy, and so, but with all this newfound energy and direction that you want to go in, then you kind of figure that out, and things just kind of fall into place, because it's non-negotiable. So.
Right. I love that. Well, I don't see, let's see. You might've answered this. Mandy asked, do you do anything special for onboarding or creating a team culture? I'm not sure if she found the answer within what you said, about reaching out to people and things like that. So, I don't know, she can comment and let us know if she kind of found that answer within there, but I don't see any other questions. I do want to say thank you so much for accepting my invitation at the last minute. I did reach out to her this morning because your girl's been dead for the last 48 hours. So I did not plan ahead. But I think that I found gold this morning by asking Theresa and her being able to say yes. I see you didn't have to take the kids to soccer.
No, I told you, I'm like, I actually have a Zoom at 7:30. So is that going to be, and he's like, nope, I got it. So I'm like,
that's funny. Okay. He's so funny.
So yeah, he is
so funny. I remember, I think it was for the challenge group. You guys had to do like a video or something like that. And y'all did something in y'all's pajamas or something.
Probably.
And I remember cracking up laughing at him in his, was it Christmas pajamas or something like that?
Probably. I think we had like a red and white striped pair that we did maybe a video in or something. Yeah. Probably so. I
think so. It was so funny. But he's an
extrovert. So he's like my hunter gatherer, and then I'm like the person that takes over like once, so.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah. Is he stays home with you as well?
He does. He came home about a year after I came home. So we got his to 200K as well.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah. And so our next goal will be to get him to the millionaire status too. So
that's exciting.
Yeah. So.
Well, I cannot wait to see you at Palooza, and you're going to be able to get your millionaire award at this Palooza, right? Because
I
you
already got it. I got
you
it the
did?
year before. Yeah, because that was
Okay.
like 2 years ago. Yeah.
Okay, I couldn't remember when you hit and if it was
Yeah.
during all this COVID stuff and all of that. So that's super exciting. Well, again, thank you so much. I'm not going to keep you for too much longer. I didn't see any more questions, and I think Mandy did say she found your answer, found her answer within what you had already said. So
Good.
again, thank you so
You're
much. This
welcome.
was so great, and I hope you have a great night.
Thanks. Thanks for asking me. Bye.
Of course.